Let me tell you about the most useless organ in the human body. It sits in your lower right abdomen. It's a small, worthless pouch. It does absolutely nothing, and once in a while, it tries to kill you. That's what doctors believed about the appendix for over a century. Useless, a leftover, an evolutionary mistake. And they were completely wrong. Today we know the appendix has a real important job. But this video isn't really about the appendix. It's about a far more powerful idea. The trap your mind falls into when it can't see the purpose of something. It's called the "if I don't understand it, it must be pointless" fallacy. And it quietly wrecks decisions in your life every single day. Let's start with the principle, because it has a name and a wonderful story behind it. It's often called Chesterton's fence. The writer, G.K. Chesterton, described a scenario. Imagine you're walking down a road and you come across a fence blocking the path. It seems completely pointless. There's no obvious reason for it. The impatient modern reformer says, "I don't see the use of this. Let's clear it away." But Chesterton argued the opposite. If you don't see the use of something, that is precisely the reason you should not remove it. Not yet. Because someone, at some point, put that fence there for a reason. And until you understand the reason it was built, you have no way of knowing what will happen when you tear it down. Think about how deep that goes. The fence looks useless to you only because you don't yet understand it. Your failure to see its purpose isn't evidence that it has none. It's evidence of the limit of your own knowledge. And acting on that ignorance, bulldozing things you don't understand, is how smart, well-meaning people cause disasters. History is full of this. Consider the rule, the tradition, the regulation that some clever new leader scraps because it seems outdated and silly, only to discover, painfully, that the rule was the only thing preventing some catastrophe everyone had forgotten about. The rule existed because of a problem so well solved that people stopped seeing the problem, and then mistook the solution for a nuisance. The moment they removed it, the old catastrophe came roaring back. You can see this in the human body, too. For decades, various body parts were dismissed as useless leftovers. The appendix, the tonsils, even large portions of our DNA were literally labeled junk. And one by one, science discovered they were doing quiet, important work all along. The appendix, it turns out, acts as a safe house for the good bacteria in your gut. That so-called junk DNA helps regulate how your genes switch on and off. They were never useless. We were just ignorant of their function. So why does the human mind make this mistake so reliably? Why do we assume that what we don't understand must be worthless? Part of it is simple arrogance, the quiet assumption that if there were a good reason, we would already know it. We overestimate how much we understand about the systems around us. Psychologists have even measured this. People are wildly overconfident about how well they understand how everyday things work, from zippers to governments. It's called the illusion of explanatory depth. We think we understand far more than we actually do. So when something doesn't fit our shallow model, we assume the thing is flawed, not our understanding. And part of it is impatience. Understanding why something exists takes effort, research, humility. Tearing it down feels decisive, bold, intelligent. Our culture celebrates the disruptor who smashes the old ways. But there's a crucial difference between the person who removes a fence after understanding why it was built and the one who removes it simply because they couldn't be bothered to find out. Now let's turn this into something you can actually use, because Chesterton's fence is one of the most practical mental tools you will ever own. First, whenever you're about to eliminate something, a process at work, a habit, a rule, a tradition, a feature, pause and ask one question. Why is this here in the first place? Don't ask whether it seems useful. Ask why it exists. If you can't answer that, you're not ready to remove it. Go find out first. Talk to whoever built it. Dig into the history. The reason is almost always there, waiting to be found. Second, apply this to people, not just systems. When someone does something that seems irrational, our instinct is to think they're stupid or crazy. But most behavior that looks senseless from the outside makes perfect sense once you understand the person's situation. Before you dismiss what someone does, ask what problem they might be solving that you can't see. You'll be right far more often assuming there's a hidden reason than assuming there's none. Third, and this is the flip side, use it on yourself in reverse. Sometimes you're the one clinging to a fence that genuinely has outlived its purpose. So once you do understand why something exists, and you find the reason no longer applies, then you can remove it with confidence. Chesterton's fence isn't an argument to never change anything. It's an argument to understand before you change. Understanding first is what separates wise reform from reckless destruction. Here's the truth to carry with you. The world is full of fences you didn't build, rules you didn't write, and systems you don't fully understand. Some of them really are outdated and should go, but you can't know which ones until you do the humble work of asking why they're there. Not understanding something is not the same as it being pointless. Very often, the thing you're most tempted to dismiss is quietly holding something up. So this week, find one fence in your life, a rule, a habit, something you've been meaning to get rid of, and instead of removing it, ask why it exists. What you learn might surprise you. If this gave you a new way to think before you tear something down, there's a whole playlist of these waiting for you. I'll see you in the next one.